welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. I'm trying as much as I can to get myself to start filming more during this quarantine. I'm at home all the time and I really don't have an excuse to not be filming content. I really want to get back to posting weekly and I really want to be posting multiple times a week. It's just getting myself to film, getting myself to edit, getting myself to not make up excuses and just go for it. So here's me just going for it. This video is going to be basically just kind of an overview of my apartment hunt once I got my apartment and what it's like living here now. My first video that I did about this was really meant to just sort of be a vlog to take everyone along with me for like my apartment hunting process, and then it didn't really turn out to be much of an informational one, but that video is my actually most watched video, and I realized that a lot of people do have a lot of questions. People look for those kind of videos, so I figured I would do another one that's a little bit more informative and give people a little bit more actual information on the apartments. I'm currently living in Santa Rosa, California. When I was doing my apartment hunting vlog, I didn't know which city I should be living in. I live about 15 minutes away from my job, so my job is in ROHNERT Park, California, and I live in Santa Rosa. The commute to work is usually between 15 and 30 minutes. It really depends on traffic, what time I'm going. Sometimes during rush hour, like coming home from work, it'll be like 45 minutes if traffic's like really bad or there's an accident or something like that. So it's a pretty easy commute. It's kind of what I wanted. As far as apartment hunting goes, I guess I'll kind of break out this video into different parts. The first part, I'm gonna go over what exactly it was that I did in order to look for an apartment, how I found the places, all that kind of stuff. Second one will be information on my apartment now, and then third I'm gonna give like commentary, I guess you could say. Alright, so first part of the video is my apartment hunting. So if you guys saw my first video, you saw that I had looked at a couple places. So when I was apartment hunting, like I said, I work in ROHNERT Park. I wanted somewhere that was gonna be a close enough commute to work, so I didn't want any more than 30 minutes away. There are a lot of towns in the surrounding area that you could choose from, so I looked in Santa Rosa, ROHNERT Park, I think Katati technically was one of the places, and PETALUMA. So one of the big issues that I had was that I was coming to look at apartments in March and I was not moving in until the end of May or June. So it was a little bit difficult because apartments don't know their availability, they don't know exactly pricing because it varies month to month, that kind of thing. I was struggling because most places that I was looking at were full, and they were, what happens is people would sign year-long contracts, and then after their year-long contract is over, they can do month to month for a couple months or renew. So they can't tell me like, oh yeah, this person's gonna be, their contract's gonna be up in April and we know they're gonna renew for like May. So they don't know that kind of stuff. So it was kind of hard that I was looking at places and I would just have to put my name down on a list saying like, hey, call me if you get an availability, and that's kind of how it was everywhere that I went. The apartment I am in now was actually the only place that when I went there, they had an availability like that they knew for sure was going to be opening up in May. The issue with that was it was opening as of May 1st and they could only hold it for me for 14 days from that date before it was open to someone else, and I knew I wasn't going to be moving in until the like last week of May. So what ended up happening was I had to pay for most of the month of May, starting from the 15th on until I was going to move in order to secure my spot. So I paid, I want to say it was like $1,300 for the partial prorated rent for the month of May before I actually physically got here and got any of my stuff here. But that was kind of just what worked out for me. I didn't want to stress about how I was going to figure out like which place to move into and all that kind of stuff. Whereas this one, I came, I saw it, I knew I liked the place, I knew I liked the area, I got to physically see it. So I was like, let me just sign this and not have to stress about looking for housing when I had to leave. So I was living in Texas and I had just come down for the week, so I was not going to be able to make another trip down here, and it was important to me to sort of have that set so it wasn't something else that I was stressing about. As far as the apartment searching part, I knew an approximate distance, and then I really just kind of wanted to see as many places as I could. There were a lot of places that didn't have their pricing online. I hate the places do that, so I would just go for a tour, I asked lots of questions, and then I put my name down on lots of emailing lists. When it came to actually choosing the apartment, really what I was looking for were, I wanted to live by myself. It was gonna be my first time living completely on my own. I'd lived in like apartments with like my own bathroom and stuff, but never just my own apartment. So I'm in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment right now. That's kind of what I was looking for. Those were all the places that I was looking. And the price in this area is really high. So I know people will do these videos and don't say the prices. I'm going to tell you guys. I pay $18.99 for my apartment right now just for rent. That's ridiculously high. The reason that I chose this one was it was the most square footage I could get for the least amount basically. This was like quadruple the rent that I was paying when I was living in Austin, Texas. But when I was living in Austin, Texas, it was a 4x4 apartment. But as far as the pricing go, as high as it was, I wanted a nice place to live. I was like, I'm only gonna be here for a year. I knew that for my job, I'm part of a rotational program. So this first year is here in California. The second year is somewhere else, which turned out to be Boulder, Colorado. But it was like set in stone that I was gonna be here for like give or take around a year. And I was like, I'd rather have a really nice place that I have plenty of space, that I'm happy in, than having to share space with someone. I wanted to really be on my own while I was out here, have like a space to call my own and all of that. So that was important for me. Looking back now, I honestly wish I wouldn't have. $18.99 is a lot for rent, and I just think about it now and I think about how much money I would have to do other things, like traveling, for example. If I wasn't spending close to $2,000 on rent, $18.99 is my base rent that I pay, and then there's usually around $100 for utilities, recycling, and all of that. And then my energy bill that I pay separately usually ranges between like 50 to like the highest it ever was 150, but that was when I was getting work done in my apartment and they had the dehumidifier running like 24 hours a day for like a week and a half. But usually I don't really use my AC here in California because the weather's nice enough that I really don't have to. When it got cold in the winter, I have used the heat, but I basically don't ever have to use the AC. I'll open a window, I have like a fan that I'll use, but I really try not to use a ton of electricity, try not to use the air. Usually I can keep it around like 50 to 80 for my electricity. The other thing was this apartment complex, they have like coin laundry here, but there's also a washer and dryer in my unit. Some of the newer units have them, and so that was something else that was important to me. I didn't want to have to go somewhere to do my laundry every week. I know it's not a big thing, but it was like kind of a comfort thing. Like I wanted to have my own place and have my own time to do laundry, because knowing me, I don't have like a set schedule for stuff like that. It's just kind of maybe one day at midnight I'll decide I want to go do my laundry, and I want to be able to just like throw it in and then go to bed and not worry about it. I don't remember the exact square footage of my apartment, but I want to say it's around like, it's in 700, so I think it was like 730, but I may be like lying, and I might just like put a little caption here to say what the actual square footage is if I can look it up. But it's a pretty big size apartment. The reason that I say now I wish I wouldn't have done that is like, one, it's so expensive, and two, I do not utilize all of this space. I love my bedroom. I have a bed, obviously. There's like a little stand over here, and I have this thing on the wall, and I have a couple things here and there, but like I really don't have any furniture. In my living room, I have a pub set. I call it a pub set, where it's like a little table with two little stools. So I have that, and that's really the only furniture I have out there. There's like a lamp, there's like a chair I already owned, and like a 4-thin cubby, but my living room has no couch, no TV. I don't really watch TV like that, so I don't own a TV. It's like essentially pretty much empty. So I'm paying like $18.99 for this huge apartment that I'm using like half of, honestly. During quarantine, it's made me kind of realize more that like I wish I got stuff. Whereas before, I was like, oh yeah, I'm only gonna be here for a year. It doesn't matter, I travel a lot, I'm never home. Now I'm home all the time. So I wish I kind of had that stuff. It's been nice because I can do all of my home workouts in the living room. When I was looking at different apartments, the price kind of ranged for the 1 bedroom. I think the cheapest that I had found was around $14.80, and it was like not as nice of a complex. The area was pretty much okay. There's like most of the neighborhoods around here I think are pretty good. Obviously I'm not from here, so I can't speak for everywhere, so if there's like a really bad neighborhood, I don't really know about it. $14 was like the cheapest that I had found, and then the most expensive were like brand new apartments that were gorgeous. They had like super high ceilings, like all granite countertops, like all this kind of stuff, and it was like $2,300 I think for like a 1 bedroom, and it was a much smaller square footage than what I'm in right now. It was like 6 something for square footage, and like the bedroom was small and it had a huge living room. And I found a lot of places like that where I had like a huge living room and then a small bedroom, and I was like, that's the opposite of what I want. I want a bigger bedroom, and I'd rather take a smaller living room because I'm going to spend more time in my bedroom by myself than I'm going to spend in a living room. So that's kind of all of the details and stuff that I have that I can think of off the top of my head. Sort of a general overview. Like I already said, I wish I just lived somewhere with a roommate. I wish I lived somewhere cheaper. It's definitely one of the reasons that I'm really sad, but I'm glad to be leaving California because it is so expensive around here, and I always wanted to live in California at some point. I just never thought it would be this young and this like early in my career. I had just always pictured myself moving here like eventually, and then then with my job I got placed here, and so I came here a little bit earlier than I thought, and now I'm very aware of just how expensive everything is, from gas to apartments to just everything. Maybe I'll come back after my next year, maybe I won't, I don't really know. Other than the pricing though, I've really enjoyed California. Have been through kind of a lot here now, from experiencing the fires, which were in my area, to now the quarantine, and it's definitely been a good year so far. I think I'm at like month 8 or something. I'll be here for another couple months. The weather here is like the best weather ever, and I'm so sad to leave it. I'm from Florida, moved to Texas, and then came here. Humidity in Texas and Florida, oh my gosh, it's terrible. Whereas like here, there's not really that much humidity, and like there's more temperature fluctuation. I always used to say like, the Texas heat is different. Going from Texas, you'll have like 80% humidity, so like it'll be 90 all day long, and then the sun goes down and it's like 87, and it's still so hot and you're still like sweating and there's no sun. Florida, you get like a nice sea breeze, so it'll be like 90 during the day, and then, you know, it's like 70 at night or 75 at night or something like that. There's like a little bit cooler. And then like California, it'll be like 90 during the day and then 40 at night, which is like a lot of fluctuations as far as temperature goes, but I actually really like it. I like that it's not hot all the time. I haven't lived anywhere cold before, so me moving to Boulder is gonna be a change. I think the weather, I feel like, has been my favorite thing here. Whenever anyone asks me about like, oh, how do you like California? I'm like, I love the weather here. I feel like I have a lot more that I could say as far as living here. Nightlife, going out, being a young person in this area. So I think I might save those for another video, because I feel like I've kind of been rambling for a while now. But if you have any specific questions for me about my apartment hunts, what it's like living in Santa Rosa, what it's like moving to California, any of that kind of stuff, feel free to comment them down below or email them. I always put my email in the description. I think I'm gonna do another one of these videos, so I will be sure to answer any questions that I get in that video. Make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in my next video.